You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
That'll read a script. Script reads me.
Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trying to get responsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Oh, we trade actors, motherfucker.
Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to the new. I'm your host, Randy Perham. So, speaking of false news and being biased reporting, I don't know if you heard that there was a young lady that was fired from, it was a Fox affiliate channel. She was fired the other day because she went off script and said that she's being oppressed, or suppressed rather, both suppressed and oppressed, for not being able to report things that she wanted to report on, and her bosses said, no, you can't report on that because that's telling the truth. So she was fired for snitching on them. But anyways, these are the things that we face in our American media, which we'll touch on later on. Happy Friday. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday, Red Friday. And this is a time that we take to thank our men and women who are serving our nation away from home, around the world, sacrificing and doing the things that they do. Let me put it like that. Take care of the bad guys, in other words. And so we salute you. We thank you for what you do, your sacrifices and commitments to our freedoms, our liberties, and our republic. And so with that, there's a lot to cover today, actually. A lot to cover. My daughter has been having some car trouble lately. And I just want to throw the story out there. So the other day, she and my grandson, they broke down right down the street from me, right down the street. She broke down. She was on her way back from visiting with her family. And she calls me just frantic, screaming, crying, and everything else. And I'm poking a little fun at her. And I'm hearing sirens in the background, ambulances, and you name it. I'm hearing all this in the background. She's screaming. I'm hearing the baby screaming. And I'm like, hey, calm down. What's wrong? And she's like, the car's broke down. Oh, my God. There's a body in the street. I'm like, a body in the street? I'm like, did you hit somebody? Did you get into an accident? She said, no, no. And I couldn't hear her because she was crying. I said, hey, you need to calm down so I can understand you. And so she took some breaths and everything. She calmed down. She said, the car broke down in the middle of the road. There's a body in the street. I was like, where's the body coming from? What are you talking about? And so she was like, there was a motorcycle accident. I'm like, did you hit the motorcycle? Did you cause the accident because the car broke down? She's like, no, it's just right. It's like up the street from me. I'm like, okay. I said, are you okay? She's like, yeah, we're fine. Girl, bye. Got in the car, drove down the street, got the vehicle secured, and came home. I was like, don't you ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. Don't call me screaming and crying in the background with sirens going on in the background and you're okay. And she was like, I just wanted to help that person because he was throwing off his motorcycle. What does that have to do? I'm sorry for that person. I hope they're okay. But what does that have to do with you calling me screaming and being frantic, worrying me when you're perfectly fine? You just broke down. But okay. Anyways, I hope y'all like my new hat. It is Randy Perm for U.S. Congress with the website www.rpermforus.com. I have a few for those select individuals that make a significant contribution to my campaign. So anyways, it's been a pretty chill week, though, all in all. Didn't do too much of anything. Just been busy catching up on stuff. And this past Sunday, I had the esteemed privilege and opportunity to be a guest speaker here locally for a mentorship program to youth from the ages of 8 to 17 years old. And I had the opportunity to be a guest speaker at that event. And it was the first one that they put on for a series of them. They would be doing these every month on a Sunday. That way it kind of doesn't interfere with kids' activities, their sports practices, and what have you. So we had about 15, 16 kids there, and it was a great time. I went way over my allotted time of speaking but it was okay because we got into some in-depth conversations, and the kids were just so into what I was discussing with them that, you know, the facilitator, his name is Kenneth Jones. Thank you, by the way, once again for the great opportunity and the phenomenal work that you're doing. But he was just like, keep going. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. I was like, okay. And so we ended up going almost an hour and a half, just talking to these bright young stars that are coming up. And And so this is them. I'll just put it back right here. This is some of them, you know, there, and that was me talking with them. And then at the conclusion of it all, I gave them a copy of my book, The New You, Now Equipped with Wisdom. And this book was written specifically more so for the 17-year-olds, you know, coming out of high school, you're going to college, or going to the military. But I thought about it and I said, you know what? These 8, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds, they can start now. And they will have a leg up and be ahead of their peers as they get older, because they will have some infinite wisdom and knowledge that they can start practicing. And I gave them a task, and I'll be following up with them in a couple of weeks to give me their 7-year, 14-year, 21-year plan, what they envision themselves doing, and the goals with an action plan as to how they're going to achieve those goals. So I'm excited to see that. And outside of that, we're going to jump to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get into some nitty-gritty stuff. So keep it locked right here. Thank you for tuning in once again, and I will see you here in a couple of minutes. Minutes. Yes, I said it. Minutes. In a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Alexa, Help me find the best in urban conservative news, talk, and movies. Okay, Alexa, we found it.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, our homeboy, our homeboy Hunter Biden has made the news again this week. You know, there's this thing called being a media whore. And I swear on everything, this guy is the epitome of that. You look up media whore in the dictionary and this dude's picture will pop up. So, Hunter Biden, since his book, I don't even remember the name of it. It was something like Beautiful Things. Beautiful Things. Since it failed, and they tried to say that it was a New York Times bestseller. No, it wasn't. Just stop lying to us, please. But anyways, his book failed, bombed like completely, and he's burned through all his Burisma and Ukraine and China money that he's now selling abstract art, better known in his category, blow art. Yes, I guess apparently this is a real thing. I'm not too studious in the art profession, but however, there's apparently this technique of blowing paint onto a canvas and making designs and stuff out of it called blow art. Now, I think it's suitable for this guy to be in this arena of blowing art, since he does blow cocaine and everything else. And you can see here in the picture that he has a straw, a paper straw. Anyways, a paper straw, and he's blowing paint. Now, here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. The kicker is he is selling this abstract art for $500,000 a piece. And The names of the buyers will not be released or publicly mentioned because of privacy. Now, it's been speculated that there's more to that than this. We all are familiar with, well, I ain't gonna say we all, I'm not gonna assume. There's this thing in the art industry where money laundering and nefarious activities with funding is channeled through such industry by way of selling art. And so this guy is not only selling art, but we believe that he's selling access. So people pay $500,000 to get this cute little picture of a flower that was made with a straw and his breath, and they get to have exclusive access not only to him, but to now President. Back then it was Vice President when all this was going on, but now President Biden. So, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to what's going on, please. Please pay attention. It's right before our eyes, and it's sad. It's sad that this guy is walking around scot-free after release of his emails, the investigation that's going on with his laptop, all these things, and he's walking around scot-free, selling art. Once again, scamming people, because that's what it is at the end of the day, scamming people to have access not only to him but to his to the fame of his father. So I encourage people, once again, pay attention to what's going on. I can't make this stuff up, even if I wanted to. I just can't, because it's right here before our eyes. But yet I had a discussion the other day with somebody, and they said to me, they was like, well, you know, that's just what they do, and we can't do anything about it. Oh, yes, we can. It's called calling them out publicly, getting authorities involved, and ensuring that they are prosecuted for these things. Just because they're a public official, or just because they're in some office, they're not actually immune to anything. And we've seen this over the years. It's just a matter of pressing the issue. And with the media giving, you know, exclusive coverage, and I would say coverage as in cover, you know, to prevent this kind of information from getting out. This is why TECN.TV.com and other YouTube channels and people in the alternative media domain, we are dominating over the mainstream media nowadays. And so, because we're the ones that's telling the truth, we're the ones that's calling them out, we're the ones that are actually being unbiased in what it is that we're reporting. Yes, we may have slanted views, sure, but the truth is there. And as I always say to people, where's the lie? When I'm giving you information, where's the lie? I'll wait. So, anyways, moving right along. Moving right along to this joker. Our top two U.S. officials, that is the President and the Vice President of the United States, they embarked on what I would dub as a foreign disaster. A foreign trip disaster, that is. And this week, well, last week it was Vice President Kamala Harris down in Guatemala, where the President of Guatemala told her to her face, the border crisis, if you want to get to the root cause of the border crisis, look at your own administration. Look at what it is that you're doing. President Trump had it right. He did it right. Y'all came in there and reversed everything. He said this to her. Y'all came in and reversed everything and made this chaos. So if you're wondering what the root cause is, it's you. But I digress on that because I already talked about that a little bit last week. But this week, President with an asterisk Biden, yes, I'm still on that. President with an asterisk Biden went overseas for his first year overseas trip to Europe. He stopped in Cornwall, England for the G7 summit. And there, he was a laughing stock. Literally, there's videos of this. He was a laughing stock of the meetings. And then he went on to Brussels, Belgium, to the NATO headquarters where they had the NATO summit. And he too there was a embarrassment and a laughing stock and the butt of jokes there. There's videos of this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you may say, well, Trump was being laughed at there too. Yeah, he was. He was being laughed at about a lot of things. I agree with you. However, guess what they didn't laugh at? When he made them fork up $4 billion to pay their fair share in the collective defense strategy. They wasn't laughing about that too much now, was they? No. And how he bogarted his way into a lot of the, I'm going to say bogart. He asserted himself in the meetings to ensure that not only did the allies understand, but the adversaries understood that he was not there to play with them. Biden, not so much. It was, oh, okay, yeah, we're glad the United States is back. Yeah, sure, okay. And even President Emmanuel Macron, France, he even was caught saying, "Thank God we have our club member back." What does that mean? Why are you happy that you have your club member back? What is this club that you're referencing to, Mr. President Macron, France? What is this club? Why wasn't President Trump part of this club? Oh, I know, because he held you accountable. No, don't get me wrong. I love my French colleagues, my buddies over there. I love France, love Paris, love Bordeaux, love it. But however, we have to get to the bottom of that statement. So I challenge my French colleagues to press their president on what do they mean by, we're glad to have our club member back. Now, putting that to the side for a second, moving on to good old President Putin of Russia. A meeting that lasted 4 hours that resulted in our president giving him 3 hours. Well, they say 3 hours and some say 4. Whatever it was. They President Biden gave President Putin a list of our assets and infrastructure items to not hack. As if everything else is supposed to be fair game. I'm confused. Why would you, if in fact that you have solid evidence that President Putin's country, or there's some minions in his country that are hacking and putting ransomware, demanding money from our entities in the United States, why would you give him a list of places not to touch? And if I was an adversary, the enemy, I'd be like, really? Right? Yeah, I won't touch. Yeah, okay. Hey, destroy them, and that'd be game over. Like, what were your staff thinking? Like, hey, but you know what? Y'all like it, I love it. I tell you, because wow. And then after the meeting, now it is typical foreign protocol for two things to happen. When you are abroad, there's two things well, one thing that you definitely don't do. You don't talk about your own country in a negative light on a global stage. You don't talk about your fellow Americans in a negative light on a global stage. You save that at home. You can talk about the Republicans, you can talk about Democrats on home turf, within the media and everything else, but you don't go overseas, like I said, on a global stage and talk smack about the Republicans and how they're blocking legislation and how they're being hypocrites and this and that and the third. That was no place for that. And for his communication staff, his speechwriters, they ought to know better. But we're in a banana republic, so I can't expect too much from that. But the second thing, after you meet with a foreign dignitary, you don't give them the opportunity to have the stage by themselves so they can say first at that, and say whatever it is that they want to say without being unchecked and unfettered. That's a straight no-go. But for some reason, your ingenious staff encouraged this, and President Putin got up there, and not only did he take questions from almost every media source in the world, to include the U.S., which I give some praise to the girl from, I want to say it was ABC. It was either ABC or NBC. Black young lady. I give her kudos for the courage of questions that she asked him on the global stage about him killing his political adversaries, his means and ways of handling protesters and everything else. I give her, that was brave. I'm surprised she walked out of there alive. I'm surprised she got back home alive, if she's back home at all. But anyways, you don't give somebody like that the opportunity to spread propaganda, to twist stories, to push a narrative without being unchecked. And you allow him to do it for 55 freaking minutes. 55. Almost an hour. He was just sitting up comfortable, just answering questions. Just like, what you got? But sure, what you got? You, okay, yeah, sure. Whoever you are, yeah, go ahead. Got it, okay. And boom. And it was like, wow. My head exploded. I was like, oh damn. We have just got creamed. And then, of course, about 30 minutes later, here comes our president, pulls out a list of pre-screened people to ask him questions, and he only did it for 22 minutes. Straight up embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, well, I was given a list by my staff on people to call on. No! No! Come on! What? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a communications expert, by no means. However, when handling the public, I guess I can consider myself to be fairly experienced. That is one thing you just don't do. You don't pull out a list and say, well, my staff told me there's only a certain amount of people I can call on, and these are who they are. So first up is, what? at least pretend like you don't have a list. You'd be like, okay, all right, I'll now take questions. I'm going to go ahead and go with such and such. Do it that way. You know, it doesn't look like it was pre-screened or whatever else. Now, if these people already know that they were pre-screened to ask questions, okay. But Jesus Christ. Man. Wow. I am not open to be White House press secretary, just so you know, or your communications. No thanks. I pass. But outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, the 22 minutes versus 55 minutes, selective questioning. Now, granted, after he got done, as he was leaving off the stage, he did take some impromptu questions that he fired back on, but they were questions more like accusing him of something, and he addressed that. And then when he got to the tarmac, before they took off, he took a range of questions from people. Well, once again, they were part of the press pool that was traveling with him, so they kind of just ate up some time. I guess they were still getting the plane ready or whatever else, and he was answering some baseline questions. They weren't really questions of, I guess you would say, substance. So, all in all, I mean, all the media outlets kind of acknowledged that this was a flopped trip. And for him and the VP, don't recommend y'all go anywhere else. I suggest you stick to the Zoom calls, okay? That way you can kind of manage that a little bit better. Folks, we're going to jump to a commercial break. We'll be right back. Keep it locked right here, because, ooh-wee, man, oh man.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, congratulations to the black community for Juneteenth. Is now officially a federal holiday. And I'm not saying that as a joke or to be facetious or anything like that. I am sincerely saying congratulations. This is a landmark, historical, I guess you could say, event that that has been fought by the black community for decades, literally for decades. And it's now become federal law now, officially, to be a holiday. Now, on the backside of that, this is now me being a hole. I would suggest that we don't take this to the heart too much. Now, President Trump offered up to make this a federal holiday and encouraged Congress to pass it then, a couple years ago, and they refused to do so because they didn't want to give him a legislative victory. Look at the track record, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the track record. So this is I would say this is a pandering opportunity for Democrats to do this, but nonetheless, it's done. It's passed. We're happy. That's great. But I'm gonna also give some other things, some other background noise. Why is it that Emancipation Proclamation Day isn't a federal holiday I mean, after all, that was 2 years and 2 months before Juneteenth, where a majority of the slaves were set free. And why is it that this became a federal holiday literally just days before the actual event? This should have been like this should have been like an agenda item on day one. So it would have gave the opportunity to the federal employees the opportunity to implement this, create a plan and everything else. Because as a result now, the U.S. Postal Service, which we all know, has a very significant black population working in the UPS system, USPS system. They're not even going to get a chance to celebrate the first black federal holiday. So that was piss poor planning on it on Congress's part. But nonetheless, we have this holiday now. So what's the so what going forward, ladies and gentlemen? What's the so what going forward? Here's the so what. Now that it is a federal holiday, a nationally recognized thing, retailers, big retailers, are going to capitalize on one more thing that they can get the black dollar from. T-shirts, hats, shoes, clothes, whatever, drinks. It goes on and on and on. And so I've been seeing these memes and these little conversations on social media about, well, don't shop at Walmart for Juneteenth items. Don't find your local black businesses that sell these things. Okay, that's great and good. I support that. However, can they meet the production demands? That's the problem. It's well and good to call for support to a black-owned business on something, on anything, but can they meet the production demand? Can they meet the customer service demand? And what I mean by customer service demand, by way of not having an attitude when a customer actually asks for, quality service. So these are the things that we have to take into account, ladies and gentlemen. I once again had talked with some small business owners about this very thing. That it's cool to sit here and say, I'm going to promote my business and I expect, the black community to support me and everything else. But what are you reciprocating? Are you able to meet the demands of production? Are you able to meet the customer service demands? Are you able to, say for example, you have a defective product, are you willing and able to swap it out, take a loss, essentially, and everything else? Silence, usually. And I get it. You have those that because you're going into a black-owned business, the customers always expect a discount, they want to hook up and everything else. I get all that. But that comes with the territory. You just have to handle that professionally and accordingly. But nonetheless, Juneteenth is shown us already, and it's this Saturday, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the official holiday of Juneteenth, but of course, being that it's Friday, we're celebrating it today. And it's already shown us the, as I said a minute ago, the lack of preparation is already becoming politicized. And now we're facing that this is going to be just one more thing that's diminished within the black community thanks to commercialization and just people just being against it because it's showing exclusiveness. Now, looking back on history, the last president who initiated a federal holiday in the name of blackness was Ronald Reagan with the Martin Luther King holiday. And so you have 40 years, a 40-year window, literally a 40-year window since a federal holiday has been named in the wake of doing it literally the day before the holiday. But I digress. But like I said, I encourage Congress to go back and look at, making the Emancipation Proclamation Day a federal holiday as well. Why not? What about that day? Only reason why Juneteenth is so special is because of the dramatization behind it. It occurred 2 years after the rest of America, slaves were going about their business. In Texas, General, what was his name? Anyways, General marched into Galveston, Texas, and was like, "Hey, guys, what are you doing? You're free. Go home. Go do something." And they're like, "This white guy talking about we've been working since." So, I like to poke fun at these things, folks. So don't get mad. Don't get mad. You be alright. Anyways, so in other news, this gentleman, Ty Smith. My hat's off to you, sir. You are what I would call a true patriot and a hero. And what Ty Smith did, ladies and gentlemen, he took an axe to critical race theory. Now, next week I plan on doing a sort of a deep dive, if you will, into critical race theory. What it is, why it is this, and where we go from there with it. Now, I am a big proponent against critical race theory because from what, and I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks now, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and do like a little small deep dive on it just so we can clear the air on some things, because there are some, I'm not going to say good aspects of it, but there are some things that's like, okay, I could see that being applicable or a reference to, discuss, but in a classroom setting, not so much. And I already explained why last week. So, but anyways, this gentleman, Ty Smith, without further ado.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last. Ty Smith. And what I want to do is I want to talk about, when we think about critical race theory, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? When you say the word critical, what comes to your mind when you think about the word critical? I have 2 degrees in medicine. You know what critical means to us? Critical means that the person is almost getting ready to die, or they most surely will die. So when you say critical race theory, you might think of it in the sense of, oh, this information is critical that they know, as of the up and important. But when I think about critical race theory, I think about critical as in this is getting ready to kill something or kill somebody. So most likely what is going to happen when this gets taught to our children? Give you an example here. I was in the 3rd grade and I was on welfare, go figure, and we had something called a lunch card. Our teacher would let the kids that got the cold lunch or got lunch from home, they got to go in line first. The ones that had a lunch card, we had to go behind them. So time after time that kept on happening, I'm getting there thinking like, man, this is messed up. How come the kids that got a cold lunch? How come the kids that got lunch from school? Why do they get to go before me? I started feeling real down and bad about myself. What makes them kids more special? What makes them different? What makes them so cool that they get to go first, while us with the lunch card get to go in the back? So I started piecing some things together like, man, this is messed up. Why? These people that actually got the lunch, the ones that had the cold lunch, the ones that had to get to go first, they were some of my friends. I started disassociating myself with them. I started actually hating them. I actually started disliking them because I felt that they had something that I didn't have. They had it better than I had. I actually started getting mad at my home life because why can't I get a cold lunch to bring up here so I can be up there in line? Why couldn't I? Now, my friends trying to figure out what's wrong with Ty. How come he's so mad at us? I'm mad at them for something that's not even their fault. I'm getting mad at them because I'm the one that got a lunch card. They get to go first in line. But the fact that I was in the 3rd grade and was able to piece that together to say in the 3rd grade, look what I did. I conjured up my own perceptions of what my friends were. They weren't looking down on me. They didn't think they were better than me. I'm the one that came up with those false perceptions of what my friends were, not them. So when you talk about critical race theory, which is pretty much going to be teaching kids how to hate each other, how to dislike each other, that's pretty much what it's going to all come down to. You're going to deliberately teach kids, this white kid right here got it better than you because he white? You're going to personally tell a white kid, oh, the black people are all down and suppressed. How do I have 2 medical degrees if I'm sitting here oppressed? Yeah. How do I get 2 medical degrees? No mom, no dad in the house. Worked my way through college. Sat there and hustled my butt to get through college. You going to tell me somebody that looked like all y'all white folks kept me from doing that? He say, well, son, you're never going to be able to get nowhere because you know the black people. But guess what? What's sickening about this whole thing is what y'all doing right now is already something I do in my community right now to speak out against stuff, because black folks are getting told by other black folks, oh, you know you ain't going to be able to do nothing out there in the world because them white folks ain't going to let you get no, oh, you know you're not going to be able to do it here because you know, the white man going to keep you down. Well, how did I get where I am right now if some white man kept me down? How am I now directing over folks that look just like you guys in this room right now? How? What kept me down? What oppressed me? I work for myself from off the streets to where I am right now. You gonna sit here and tell me this lie of critical race theory? This the reason why black folks can't get ahead because of white folks? Are you kidding me? This is what we come to now. I can't believe we even talking about this right now. The last thing we're gonna say right here is something that's crazy. Martin Luther King said he wanted his kids to grow up in a world where they are judged by the contents of their what? Character. Not their skin. If they let this stuff go on right now, it is absolutely doing the complete reverse of what he's doing. So when February comes, don't talk about Martin Luther King. When February comes, don't talk about black kids and mother dog gonna sit there and just pretty much pee on his grave with this nonsense. That's exactly what's about to happen. Lastly, we are talking about our kids. We are talking about our children. What's so sickening about me, I love the Discovery Channel. You will see that on Discovery Channel, animals will put their lives on the line to protect their children from danger, to protect their children from what we call predators. And what they do, they put their lives on the line from predators. What are we doing? Oh, just let the kids go, let anything happen to them, let anybody, let bring in this sexuality stuff right there and pervert these children and all that. Let them know that, oh, if somebody touch you, oh, if it felt good to you, it's going to be okay. Nobody want to get to the heart of the matter, get to the meat of the matter, get to the moral of the story. It all comes down to it. The person that's going to be suffering from this, the one's going to be hurt from this, is the kids. 10 years from now, this stuff goes on, and we see that we producing a whole bunch of kids that's actually super sexually pedophile, acting and all this stuff like that. Whose fault is it going to be? Whose fault is it going to be? Who are we going to look back on and blame for this? Because this is stuff we talking about right now. This stuff is going on right now. I do this stuff on a daily basis. I'm in the hood. I'm in the communities. I'm out there with folks in their face. I've been doing this stuff since I was 18 years old, talking to black folks. And you know what? None of them are buying this nonsense. None of them are. But if you want to implement this into the school system, I guarantee you to the day that I die, I'm going to be the very person right there debunking stuff, tearing stuff down, letting them know they can do exactly what I did and get exactly where I am by putting themselves to work and getting there. And there's not one white person ever don't keep any of them from getting there. So the CRT stuff, BS. Oh, my time's up? Yeah. Okay, my time is up. I'm going to finish this real quick. As far as the mask go, you talking about somebody mentioned a comment about there being common sense. I got 2 medical degrees. Guess what? When it comes to doing things with masks and all stuff like that, you got something called contact isolation or certain things that's in the air, right? So when you go in there, you do something called the PPE, right? I go in there with a mask on to protect myself from certain airborne illnesses or dropping Picassos and all that. Guess what? I've been wearing a mask all this time. I've been working in the hospital for over 20-some odd years. I don't have COVID. Never had it. Never been vaccinated. I have not gotten anything whatsoever. Because guess what? I follow the ABCs of medicine when it comes to wearing a mask. So I don't care what Dr. Fauci or Fauci says. The basic common sense of it is, his email told you, it's not going to help you from doing anything. So guess what? To this day, still haven't got the COVID, still haven't got the still haven't got the
Y'all get the point. So, we see a, when it comes to critical race theory, we see a dichotomy in society. And we see not only a dichotomy in society, but we also see a microcosm of a dichotomy in the black community when it comes to critical race theory. A lot of black parents are standing up and they're fighting against their children being taught critical race theory. Why? Just like Mr. Smith said, you're teaching my kid that they're oppressed or that they're being oppressed by other white kids. And they're mutually exclusive in a relationship in terms of doing anything that will require oppression. So you set that to the side. Now you got adults, black adults, that are arguing and bickering, saying that it's important for our kids to be taught critical race theory so they understand the systemic racism and everything else that this country is founded on and that they're seeing and going through to this very day. Ladies and gentlemen, I have constantly asked, where is it today? Where is it today? And what laws today is it systemically racist against black people or against minorities of any demographic? Where? Show me. And when you are able to show me, you ask yourself the next question: why does this law still exist when we have a very diverse Congress, a very diverse administration across the country? Nearly every urban community in America is ran by pretty much an all-black administration. So if there is some kind of systemic racism going on, if there are some kind of racist laws that are still in the books, you have to ask yourself, why does it still exist? Are we acknowledging at this point that they are complicit with these type of laws to keep them in power? If you can show me, because I've been asking for the last, I don't know, a couple months now. Show me where, why, how. We can't, because it doesn't exist. I'm sorry to say. When you talk about economic opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, we have like 6 black billionaires in America. Billion with a B. Hundreds of black millionaires. Look at the entertainment industry. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye West, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Michael Jordan. I'm leaving somebody out. Bob Johnson. That's 6 billionaires right there. So when we talk about, when we look at, when we're talking about, you know, systemic racism, when we talk about, you know, economic opportunities and everything else, and where's the money at? All the white people got the money. I just gave you 6 billionaires. Billionaires. They hobnob and hang out with Bill Gates and them. They're sending money to Africa to build schools. Not building schools in Chicago and Baltimore, LA, Miami, New York, Akron, Ohio, with the exception of LeBron James. See, it can be fair. So don't come at me talking about, you know, we need to teach our children critical race theory when they can barely read. They can barely think because they have to go to the phone. They have to go to Google. They can barely do math. You ask them what they want to be when they grow up, they can't even tell you. They just throw something out there, knowing that they have no intentions on being that profession. They can't even tell you anything about that profession, but they know that's what they want to be when they grow up. Folks, come on, work with me here. Help me help you. We have to get back to, I'm not going to say the basics, but we have to get to a level of common sense. The dichotomy in the black community bickering about critical race theory, like I said, you have the more educated side of the house. They're like, yeah, no, this doesn't make any sense. Then you have those that espouse supporting critical race theory because it's the cool thing. It's that new hashtag, and they need to fit in with each other. I have some people that are educated that are also on this side of the house, this side of the domain. They know this mess makes no sense. But in order to not appear coonish, in order to fit in with the in crowd, in order to not appear like they are against the black community, they echo and side with the things that makes no sense. And they know this. They go to bed at night knowing I just perpetuated the BS so I can fit in, so I can sleep better at night, so I don't be called names. You are a disgrace. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to get together. Across America. We cannot be taken seriously. That is the actual title of this show today. Can we be taken seriously? No, we cannot. Look at what's going on in our society right now. We have an administration that's we're sitting here fighting about what kind of curriculum to teach our children. We're sitting here tearing up our cities because criminals are getting killed by police. We have police officers quitting the force because their superiors are siding with the criminals. Look at Portland, what just happened the other day. We're like living in a bizarro world, and we need to get back to the basics of, okay, is this right, and fix it. It's that simple. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I'm going to spend with you today. You can pick up my book, The New You, Now Equipped with Wisdom, on Amazon on e-Kindle format. You can follow me on Twitter, MeWe, Gab, LinkedIn, all that good stuff at rperm. You can go to our website, www.tecntv.com. Support our Reach One program, where you can tune in to one show or all of our shows for a whole week. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we can improve on, what we can do better, or we should just, quit our day job. So do that. And if you want to support my congressional run, go to www.rpermforus.com. It's also back there. I notice there's glare. But rpermforus.com. You can also PayPal and PayPal me @RPermForUS, or you can do Cashapp at $capital R_Perm_for_US. And yeah, I appreciate that. Running a congressional campaign is expensive. It doesn't have to be, in a sense, but it is. So help me help you, America. Help me help you. And with that being said, I will see you all on Monday. I will be here on Monday. So take care. God bless you all. Be safe out there. Have a fantastic weekend. Fathers, dads, if you have children, well, obviously you would if you're a father or a dad. Happy Father's Day. No, mothers, this is not your day. Sit down, shut up. Fathers, happy Father's Day. Men, if you have children, happy Father's Day. I have to emphasize that. I am not playing on that spectrum of, we're fathers too, because we raise our kids. Shut up. Fathers, happy Father's Day to you this weekend. Enjoy. I plan on trying to hit the golf course this weekend. I'm going to try. If not, then I'll probably do it sometime next week. But outside of that, take care. God bless you all. We'll see you all on Monday.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.